Good morning. I'm Detective Sean Ventrice. I work for the North Olmsted Police Department. My first name is spelled S-E-A-N. Last name is V as in Victor, E-N-T-R-I-C-E.
Thank you. You may inquire, Ms.
Thank you.
Mateo.
You're welcome. Good morning, Detective.
Morning.
You mentioned that you work for the North Olmsted Police Department. Is
I
that
do.
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been employed there?
Been employed there for 11 years.
And your title currently is what?
Detective.
And prior to becoming a detective, did you hold any other titles within that agency?
Yes, I did. I was a patrolman.
Okay, for how long?
So I've been in the Bureau since 2023. So I've
Okay.
been up there for 3 years now.
All right. And for the jury, could you briefly describe your background, education, experience that you had to undergo in order to become a law enforcement officer?
Sure. So in 2012, I went to the Polaris Ranger Academy, which is a POD accredited by the state of Ohio. I was on patrol, went through the training period, responded to calls, community engagement, state certified CPT courses through the year, which is our requirement to update our certificates and be a police officer in the state of Ohio.
And when you received your promotion to detective, did that cause a shift in your responsibilities and duties?
It did.
Okay, and can you explain to us what your responsibilities and duties are as a detective?
Sure. It's a much larger caseload. So we're a 6-man bureau, as you all learned from prior testimony, including our lieutenant who does handle cases. We further any investigation that is brought up to us by patrol, which is usually felony crimes.
So what types of cases, in your experience, have you investigated in your career?
High-dollar thefts, telecommunications harassments, frauds, internet frauds, robberies, assaults, sex crimes.
Prior to June 2024, had you had the opportunity to investigate a homicide?
I did.
So I want to talk to you about June 3rd of 2024. At that time, were you employed by North Olmsted Police Department?
I was.
And were you a detective at that time?
Yes, I was.
And did you work a particular shift?
I did.
Okay, what was that?
So my shift is Monday through Thursday, 6 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay. And as a detective, do you kind of assign your officers, tasks that they must accomplish during the day or where they should be?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. And are you primarily stationed at the police station during your shift?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And during that time, do you receive radio broadcasts where you are located?
I do. We do have a PA system that plays our radio calls. And it's not just us, it's other cities as well. So you really have to pay attention.
So on June 3rd, 2024, did any notable call come through on the radio broadcast system?
Yes.
And can you describe to us what that was?
Well, 1500 hours, which is 3 p.m., we had a report of a a female stabbing patrons in the Giant Eagle parking lot.
Okay. And you just corrected yourself. Did additional descriptions come forward as some time passed?
Yes, it did.
Okay. So the initial description was just a female stabbing patrons at Giant Eagle?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And when that call comes through, how do you respond?
I throw on my Go vest and I run out as fast as possible and go to the threat.
And do you take other officers with you, or do you direct them to respond as well?
I yelled to a couple other officers, and hopefully they caught up with me because I was going with them or without them. So.
Okay. And so do you get into a city-issued vehicle to respond?
Yes, I did.
And I know there's been some testimony, I think it's been established, right, that Giant Eagle is very close to the police station in North Olmsted.
It is. It's right across the street.
All right. So once you respond to Giant Eagle, where exactly do you respond to?
So while en route, we did get that further information, and we got word that the female, we found out a black female wearing all black, was actually walking eastbound towards Dover. So I went right there.
All right. So that is your focus when you initially respond?
Yes, ma'am.
Versus going to the Giant Eagle store itself? Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
To one of the entrances, yes.
All right. So you're going to Dover Center Road. What do you observe upon your arrival to that area?
Well, I had a good understanding of where that person was walking to, so I pulled into the exit, and that's where I found my fellow officers and the suspect.
All right. And do you recall which officers were there on scene when you responded?
I do.
Okay, and who was that?
It was Patrolman Walcott and our canine officer, DiMatteo.
And when you responded, was the suspect already on the ground?
She was.
Okay. And was she in handcuffs?
No, she was not.
All right. And do you recall who secured her in handcuffs?
I do.
Who was that?
That was going to be Sergeant Nick Gerbolja
All right.
with the assistance of Sergeant Petro.
And at the time that you responded to that area, did you ever have the occasion to observe a weapon?
I did.
Okay. And can you describe to us where you observed that weapon to be?
I did. So the actual weapon itself was in a rock bed behind a curb.
Okay. And once the defendant is secured in handcuffs, do you remain in that area?
No, I did not.
Okay. Why not?
Because we learned that there was actually 2 victims in the parking lot. So I jumped in the cruiser and went right to that area.
Okay. And did you assign those other officers that were on scene with you to handle the suspect?
Assigned, no. So as spoken in prior testimony, we all play a role, and some of the veteran guys, they know where to fall in that role. It's like a domino. So I saw Petro and Walcott running with a mass casualty bag, and they were already on top of the victim, so I took my role.
All right. So you go to the parking lot. Upon arriving to the parking lot, describe to us what you see.
No, it was chaos. We had people everywhere. We had our officers relieving people from first aid, which was the CPR I spoke prior. People just didn't know what to do. So I started gathering people to get statements.
All right. Now, prior to doing that, did you have the occasion to observe the victim, Julian Wood?
I did.
All right. And can you tell us a little bit about what you observed?
Yeah, so, Julian was laying lifeless, and there was a lot of blood.
Did you personally render any life aid to him?
I did not.
Okay. But other officers were?
Yes, I did.
And upon observing him in that regard, as you've described, what was your next step?
So after I collected as many people as I could that saw the actual incident, I was approached by some Westlake detectives, my other fellow officers, and we directed them to do a secondary search inside Giant Eagle because we didn't know. It was unclear at first if it took place in Giant Eagle or outside the parking lot. So we just wanted to make sure that there's nobody else that needed our help inside.
Right. Did you have the opportunity to see whether Julian was transported by ambulance from the scene?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And do you know where he was transported to?
Yes, he was actually driven to the hospital by one of my detectives. My partner, Detective Butcher, drove the ambulance to St. John's.
Is that usual?
Absolutely not.
Okay. And why did that happen here?
Because the amount of effort needed to help Julian was greater than the manpower, I guess I can explain it. They needed all hands on deck in the back of the squad.
All right. So you assist with gathering statements from folks. Is that accurate?
Yes, it is.
And were there people just kind of observing the chaos as you've described as well?
Yes.
Okay, and you kind of farmed those people or weeded them out, so
Yes.
to speak. All right. And how did you get the people who witnessed something to make a written statement?
Well, as best as I could, I yelled out to everybody multiple times, whoever saw this, come to me with my hand in the air.
Okay. And did, in fact, persons come to you to give statements?
Yeah, I mean, it's a chaotic scene, so it takes people quite some time to actually understand and react to that. They're sucked into what's going on, so I screamed multiple times for people to come to me.
Okay. And you did, in fact, collect some statements from folks?
I did, so I started handing them out, and I passed on the responsibilities.
Okay. Did there come a time where you were assigned as the lead detective in this case?
So usually we are assigned by our lieutenant, but since I bounced around and did so much, I just self-assigned myself to this.
Okay. But you did work in tandem with other detectives, sergeants, and officers within your agency. Is that accurate?
It is very accurate, yes.
But you are the lead detective in this case, are you not?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay. And given that role, did you take additional steps in the investigation in this matter?
Yes.
Okay. Did you take photographs in this case?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and what photographs did you take?
So after I passed on the responsibilities of getting witness statements, I responded back to the actual arrest scene, and we got that taped off. I am an evidence tech. I was a prior FTO as well. So I started processing that area where the murder weapon was found.
Okay. And if I showed you some of those photographs today here in court, could we talk about them together?
We could.
All right. Detective, I'm going to put on the Mondo pad some of the photographs, okay?
Sure.
Starting with State's Exhibit 57. Do you see what I placed up on the screen?
Yes, I do.
Did you take that photograph?
I sure did.
And what is this photograph depicting?
So that is what I call an overall photo that establishes location from Giant Eagle to where you'll see where we found the actual murder weapon.
Okay. State's Exhibit 58. Is this what you're talking about?
Yes, that would be another overall of the exit where Bionca was arrested.
State's Exhibit 59.
Again, this is going to be an overall, but this also establishes where the murder weapon was found. If you look further into where that bush is, just to the right of the actual cruiser, there's an orange cone that I placed to mark where that murder weapon was located in the rock bed.
Okay. State's Exhibit 60.
Sure. So Exhibit 60 is going to be an overall of that cone, establishing where the murder weapon was found.
And when you arrived on scene, you testified that the defendant was already laying on the ground.
Yes, she
correct?
was.
And was she, where was she laying down? Was she on the road here or in this rock bed?
She was on the concrete, not in the rock bed.
State's Exhibit 61.
Sure. So Exhibit 61 is going to be a mid-range photo of a fixed object. That fixed object is going to be that light pole with the concrete. So that means that fixed object, it's going to be there all the time. And that just establishes where and location that murder weapon was found.
Okay. And State's Exhibit 62.
This would be a close-up of the actual murder weapon itself.
Okay, so in these prior photos that you testified to, the weapon had not yet been picked up. It was just kind of concealed by the cone?
Correct.
Okay. So 62 is depicting exactly where the knife was located.
That is exactly where the knife was located.
And is this a fair and accurate description of how this knife appeared on June 3rd when you observed and collected it?
Yes, it is.
And State's Exhibit 63?
That is a close-up of the murder weapon covered in blood.
The same question for all those photographs, Exhibits 57 to 63. Are those fair and accurate depictions of how the crime scene appeared to you on June 3rd, 2024?
Yes.
Okay. So, getting back to the different steps that you took in your investigation, after you take these photographs that we just went through, what was the next step that you took in your investigation?
So just listening to all the radio traffic, we had people doing secondaries in Giant Eagle. We had people collecting other evidence at other stores. We had people going to check video. So all that stuff was covered. So I went to the hospital.
You went to the hospital?
Yes, I did.
And what was your reasoning for going to the hospital?
Well, that reason is acting as an evidence tech. I went to the hospital to help other officers and direct them what needed to be done.
Okay. And were you concerned with making further contact with the victim's family?
Yes, I was.
All right. And why so?
As hard as it is and how uncomfortable it may be, you got to get a statement. You have to understand what happened. You got to talk to the nurses. You have to list the people that helped. And you have to get photos.
All right.
Still with us, criminal defense attorney Jeffrey Wolf. Jeffrey, to me, this is some of the best presentation of a case by the prosecution throughout this trial, because beginning to end, she has not missed a detail. She even asked the officers, he's laying the groundwork of what happened when he was at the station. And did you get into a city-issued car? Yes. How far away is the store? It's across the street. Walking through every single detail, including someone who literally runs into the gunfire when he hears there's an emergency like this, describes that, but then gets choked up as he's describing his observations of Julian Wood, lifeless and bleeding.
Yeah, I mean, this is a case where the prosecution is going to have to lay this scene out extremely well for the jury. And not because they have to prove guilt, okay? The defense is admitting guilt in this case. What they're saying is it's not guilty by reason of insanity. So laying out this case in painstaking detail for the jury is important, because they're going to have the jury understand the severity and the emotion of this case to overcome what is clearly a disturbed individual, to say that this is not something where she didn't understand what she was doing and didn't understand it was wrong. There's going to have to be no mistake in this jury's mind that this person knew exactly what she was doing. And they're going to have to be very emotionally tied to how horrific this was, because make no mistake, this was a very horrific crime. And the bottom line is this person is clearly sick and not well. And the question is, how sick and how unwell was she? And did she understand what she was doing at that time? And in order for the prosecution to really have a solid case here, they want every detail of this day burned into this jury's mind, so that it's all they're thinking about as they sit through what the defense is going to have them sit through next.
I agree with you, but I have to say some of the details, yes, not well, yes, sick, but does it amount to insanity at the time that it happened, not understanding the wrongfulness of her actions? Because there are details in the last 30 seconds, if you would comment, that indicate, I mean, she was cooperative. She tossed the knife aside. And so throughout this entire episode, she's done things that I think would make you believe she knew exactly what she was doing.
Well, even children understand when a cop comes up to you with their gun drawn and tells you to drop the weapon, you drop the weapon. And so I don't know that that gets over whether somebody is insane at the time of this as they're walking around ranting with a knife in their hand. Insanity is a strange one, Judge Ashley, and this is a very, very odd case.
And we have to rely on the experts. We haven't heard from the defense's expert yet, so I appreciate all your comments. Thank you so much, Jeffrey Wolf, for joining us. Coming up next, Michael Ayala joining me for more testimony in the toddler-stabbed murder trial for Bionca Ellis. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Ashley Wilcott.
Are you sure?
I know. I thought I said I'm Michael Ayala. I'm like, I don't know what's happening to me today.
And I'm Michael Ayala. We're both here today giving you your front row seat to justice, and we are in Ohio this afternoon for the toddler-stabbed murder trial.
Back in June of last year, Margot Wood and her 3-year-old son, Julian, had just checked out at the grocery store and were headed to their car when they were attacked and stabbed in the parking lot.
Prosecutors say it all began when the defendant, Bionca Ellis, became agitated earlier that day after not being able to collect all of her belongings at a police station.
She then proceeded to obtain a knife from a thrift store. She there is in the video, and she picked it out, and she made her way to the grocery store where the attack took place.
The defense doesn't deny that Ellis's actions, but they say that she has a history of schizophrenia and was off her meds on that day.
Let's get back into court now. A reminder, the judge had ordered we could not bring any of this testimony, of course, until they finished for the day. They finished for the day, so this is the first witness of today, day 4. It's the lead detective still on direct examination.
Did you in fact take photographs at the hospital?
I did.
And did you take photographs of Julian and his wounds?
I did.
Did you speak with any medical professionals at St. John's?
Yes, I did.
And what, if anything, did you learn about the wounds that he suffered?
I learned at 16:20 that he was pronounced dead.
And did you learn about the nature of the wounds that he sustained?
Yes, I did.
And what was that?
The wound he received to his cheek actually went in and cut a piece of his tongue. The wound that he received to his back.
Overruled. Go ahead and finish what you learned.
The wound that he received to his back was so deep that it actually sliced his lung.
Okay. Did there come a time where you interviewed anyone associated with this case?
Yes.
Okay. And who was that?
I spoke to Bionca's mother at a later time.
All right. And do you remember when you talked to her?
I do. It was on the 5th of June, 2024, about 10:45 in the morning.
Okay. And you're aware that one of your detectives interviewed the defendant, are you not?
Excuse me, I think I actually spoke to her on the 4th.
Okay. So then the day after?
Yes.
Okay. And you were aware that Marjorie Jones from North Olmsted interviewed the defendant in this case?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And was your interview with Bionca Ellis's mother before or after that interview, if you recall?
It was after.
Did there come a time where you obtained a buccal swab from this defendant?
I did.
Okay. And why is that important?
So as testified by the coroner's office, we want to provide a standard of a known suspect, so they can confirm if that is that person's DNA or not.
Okay. And is that standard in a lot of the cases that you investigate?
It is.
All right, so you oversaw this whole investigation, lots of moving parts and players, fair
Yes,
to say?
ma'am. Yes.
And did you have the opportunity to later take further photographs of the weapon that was used?
I did.
Okay.
Yes.
And was that after the weapon was collected and removed from the crime scene?
It was. So I did collect that murder weapon from the scene.
Okay. So if I showed you some photographs of how that weapon was photographed later, could you talk to us about that?
Yes, absolutely.
What's the exhibit numbers?
67, 3781.
Thank you.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
One moment. Counselor, have you seen those? Yes. Okay, go ahead. Yes, thanks.
All right, Detective, I'm placing before you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 67-2001. You're on camera and placing before you.
I do.
Okay, and what is that?
These are going to be the evidence photos I took that I took myself, prepping these to be entered into our BEAST system.
What's BEAST?
The BEAST is the program we use to collect and store evidence. It's just a data entry system.
Okay. All right, so for the jury, we'll show on the screen State's Exhibit 67. Detective, what is this photograph?
So this photograph is the murder weapon covered in blood with a ruler, and we actually would call that a scaled photo to give an understanding of how long that actual weapon is.
Let me see some numbers handwritten above the knife. What is that to know?
That is the case number. That is a report number.
Your report number.
Mm-hmm.
State's Exhibit 68.
Just a little bit more of a close-up photo.
And again, this is exactly how the knife was found from the scene, not cleaned or touched in any regard.
Correct.
State's Exhibit 69.
It's just furthering the process. It's another photo of the actual knife. You have the report number up top, and then we're just boxing it.
And why do you box it?
To keep it safe, to keep whatever's on it intact.
And then State's Exhibit, suppose that one's not marked. That's going to be State's Exhibit 70.
Sure, so that's the other side of the knife, showing the sticker from volunteers.
All right. Then finally 71.
A close-up of that sticker.
Okay, thank you. Detective, once you place that weapon in the box, what comes of it?
Well, we make sure the box is filled out, we seal it correctly, and then we put it into the outer property room, which is then handled by our property room manager.
Your Honor, I'm just going to show the witness this exhibit.
72.
I'm sorry, this is 222.
Thank you.
Detective, I'm placing before you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 222. Do you recognize that exhibit?
I do.
Okay, and what is that?
This is the box you saw on the prior photos. This is my initials. This is how well, this is not how I sealed it. This has been sealed since the testing at the coroner's office.
Okay. And does that box in fact contain the weapon used in this murder?
It does.
So, getting back to the all hands on deck aspect of this case, did there come a time where your neighboring community of Westlake assisted your agency with this case?
They did.
Right, and what did they do to help?
They assisted in the Giant Eagle, the secondary search that I spoke of. They also assisted in checking neighboring stores. I was provided Axon photos from Things Outlet. I was provided Axon photos of the other knife that was dropped outside of Things.
Okay.
And they also provided drone footage.
Drone footage.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Does North Olmsted have a drone?
We do now.
You do now?
We do now.
Okay, but in June of 2024, you did not?
No, we were in the startup process of that.
Okay. And so Westlake has a drone. Did you communicate with them about using it or borrowing it? Or?
I did not.
Okay. So how did you come to obtain drone footage from Westlake?
I believe they dropped it off, and Patrolman Walcott entered it into our evidence.
All right. So they took it upon themselves to help in that regard?
They did.
Okay. And have you had the opportunity to review the images and video that was produced from Westlake Police's drone?
Yes, I have.
All right, so if we could, let's talk a little bit about those items. There are a lot of photographs. Detective, we're not going to talk about every single one, of course, but I would like to list them all before you.
Sure.
What was that again, this particular?
I'm sorry, Judge. 132 to 149. And then there's two outside of the sequence, 212 and 213. We have that file.
If I could look at those just briefly. Sure.
And then there's another stack. This is 904 to 933. Yes.
Mr. Matthew, you've had a chance to review those as part of the discovery?
I know they were the discovery.
Okay, thank you.
And then I'm not going to go.
Just
All right, Detective. Take some of this back from you. I'm going to give you that stack. And this one, if you could, take your time. Look through it for a moment.
Just for the record, which ones are you looking at?
I have State Exhibit 132.
Through 149 and then
Through-
additional 2. Yeah, just let me know when you reviewed them.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
ready?
Yes.
Okay, so Detective, what is contained in the first stack I shared with you, 132 to 149?
132 to 149 is going to be overall shots, which appear to be somewhat of an overall close-up shot of the actual attack scene.
Okay, so let's look up at the screen, State's Exhibit 132. What does this photograph depict?
This depicts the aftermath of the attack.
Now, at the time that this photograph was captured, obviously there are no persons on scene. Was the scene contained by tape?
It was.
Okay. And this is, would you classify this as an aerial view above?
Yes, I
crime
would,
scene?
yes.
Okay.
Was it fair to say all of the pictures that you reviewed are drone produced?
They are drone produced, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
So quickly, we'll just run through 132 to 138, Detective, are going to be similar shots of what you just described.
Yes, they are.
Okay. And I know that a drone produced these images, but you were at the scene and you've reviewed these photographs.
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Fair and accurate depictions of the crime scene.
Yes, they are.
Okay. Now, this is State's Exhibit 139. It's a video, but there's just a little bit of movement from like the wind.
I think that was a start and stop, a start up and stop.
State's Exhibit 141. What is this?
Again, I think that was a start up and stop. If we go to the next,
142.
yes. I think this is what he meant to do.
Oh,
Yes, ma'am. So this is just going to show the area where the murder weapon was found and collected.
and at this time, the weapon is already collected and gone.
Already collected and gone, that's correct.
And that's showing the picture, Michael, of where she tossed the weapon, that 8-inch knife, after this incident, but also the brutality of the injuries and hearing each thing that she did. I still need to hear more from an expert to believe this might have been insanity at the time.
Yeah, we haven't heard the defense's case yet. Obviously, they're going to call their expert to explain it. The stuff that happened beforehand could have been triggering events to sort of shift her into this other personality, or it could just be acting out on this anger that she felt. Again, I'm with you. We just don't know yet.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait to see all the evidence.
Yeah, but to hear the brutality again of the injuries and what happened for multiple witnesses is hard, and this jury is enduring it. We will take a break here. When we come back, of course, we'll get you back inside the courtroom. Stay tuned.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, the defense begins their case in the toddler-stabbed murder trial. We're breaking down the biggest moments from today's proceedings.
Closing Arguments with Vinny Politan tonight at 8/7 Central, only on Court TV.
A wife accused of murdering her prominent attorney husband, and the defense involves blaming her own sons?
Victim to Verdict with Ted Rowlands. New episode Saturday night, 8 Eastern and Pacific.
Only on Court TV. For you.
I saw her coming, walking towards us, and I noticed she had a knife in her hand. She stabbed the back of the trunk of a car, and I got scared. But when I was pushing the car back, it fell over. And then she came at me. I moved. And she stabbed him in the side of his face. And then she stabbed me.
Harrowing stuff. That's Margot Wood recalling the terrifying moment that Bionca Ellis began stabbing her and her 3-year-old son in the parking lot of a grocery store.
Julian Wood, the 3-year-old, ended up dying from his injuries, and now Ellis faces life in prison without parole for his death and for the attempted murder of his mother.
But the defense claims that Ellis suffers from schizophrenia and was insane at the time of the stabbing.
And again, per the court order, we're bringing this testimony to you now that court has finished for the day. So we want to go back inside the courtroom. The lead detective is testifying to drone video of the crime scene.
And at this point, are you on scene then in the parking lot, or is this much later in the day,
I am not on scene in the parking lot.
Do you know about when the scene was ultimately cleared?
No, I do not.
What are we doing now on the screen?
We are viewing an overall video from the location of the murder weapon to the location of Giant Eagle and the attack scene.
So quite a large area then was cordoned off.
It was.
Now, we still see patrons coming into the shopping center, do we not?
We do.
Do you know other, were citizens informed of what had transpired, or
I don't.
really no way to?
I don't know that. Yeah.
Okay. And then state's exhibits 143 through 149, I believe will be kind of duplicative. So if you could just describe 143 for us.
Sure. So that's an aerial photo, which we call, again, an overall photo of the location of the attack scene.
All right. And were these photographs helpful to you in your investigation of this case?
Yes.
Okay. How so?
Well, it establishes the amount of cars there, the amount of potential people that were there, and then where the actual attack took place.
Right. And without a drone, you couldn't really get that vantage point, right?
No, you cannot.
Now let's move on to some additional photos. This is the stack, state's exhibits 904, 933. Again, we're not going to talk about each and every one. Maybe let's just go by one, and then if there's something that is notable to you, we can discuss it further. This is state's exhibit 904. Anything unique about this photo to you?
No, it's just, I believe that's the start of the grid for the overall photo as a whole.
906, we see some emergency vehicles on the scene.
We do.
Okay, so talk about 918. What do you see in this exhibit?
Well, that kind of paints a picture of our response, our initial response. Shows the attack scene, shows our ambulance, our fire department guys, and where our cruisers were located.
Okay. Same thing with 919.
Right, so again, that's an overall photo of the attack scene.
All right, 924. Why is this photo significant, if it is?
That's going to be the drive-through pharmacy area. We'll just call it north of that is going to be the drive-through area where Mr. Bush was picking up his DoorDash delivery.
All right, 926.
So at the top right of that picture is going to be the north entrance exit, Giant Eagle, and that the parking spots with the yellow lines, that's where people pick up their online orders, or if people are delivering food, that's where they pick up their order.
Yeah, and this photograph also gives us an idea of how close really the crime scene is to that.
Absolutely, yes. The attack scene is right there off to the left side of that photo.
And criminal defense attorney Sam Bassett. Sam, thank you so much for joining both of us here today. Let me ask you, so, I have applauded the prosecution for walking through every single detail with each of their witnesses and really telling the narrative in every detail for the jury to hear. But now with the drone video, it doesn't really give us any additional information. It gives us a different perspective so you can really put yourself there at the crime scene. Is it too much? Might it lose the jury, or do you think it's compelling to present?
I think it's compelling in a regular case, maybe not quite in this type of case. You don't want to drag things on in too much detail for too long a period of time to lose focus on the issue at hand here. Nobody's questioning that she did a horrible thing, and nobody's questioning it was a terrible act. Now, there was one little piece of testimony about where she put the knife that might be somewhat important on the issue of sanity. She had the wherewithal to hide the knife after the incident, so that could be argued that shows she was in a kind of a state of mind of some rationality. But other than that, a lot of this detail doesn't go to the heart of the issue.
It's interesting. Yeah, I would agree. The officer testified yesterday, Sam, that as he was rolling up towards her, she recognizes him as being a police officer, and that's when she throws the knife down to the side. And that could really say two things. One, she's either trying to hide the knife, or she realizes if she holds on to that knife, that could put her life in danger. And quite frankly, either one of those is not good for her defense.
Sure. Responding, knowing somebody is a police officer and you have to obey their commands, again, shows some level of rational thinking, and that could work against her defense.
And how do you differentiate between she has a mental health illness, we know that, and she may not have been doing well at the time of the incident, versus that next step over the line of, and it meant that she could not understand the wrongfulness of her actions? Is an expert going to be the only way the defense can try to establish that, Sam?
I think so. I mean, that's the main way you establish it. The prosecution in these cases usually emphasizes the horrific nature of the act to kind of tap into the emotions of the jurors who may not want to find her not guilty by reason of insanity emotionally. So the defense's job will be to educate the jury through somebody with a lot of experience in mental health as to how somebody could actually lose a sense of right and wrong due to their mental illness.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you're going to have to explain how, based on what we just talked about, she's in it, right? And then maybe out of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
in
after, again, in these moments, how they sort of come and go. That's something that I'd be looking for in that expert testimony. All right, Sam, stand by. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have more from that Ohio courtroom. So keep it here on Court TV, your front row seat to justice.
Get you back now to more testimony from the toddler stab murder trial of the defendant, Bionca Ellis.
The prosecutors say that Ellis randomly stabbed 3-year-old Julian Wood and his mother, Margot, outside of an Ohio grocery store last June. Her defense doesn't deny that she did it, but they are trying to prove that she was insane or didn't appreciate the nature of her actions at the time of the attack.
Still on the stand, we have lead detective Sean Ventrice, who is going over photos and evidence gathered at the scene of the crime.
929.
It's just going to be an overhead shot of the north entrance exit. It shows the roof a little bit.
All right. That's the end of that series. Thank you for going through those with me.
Say that again.
I said that was the end of that series.
Did you address 212 and 213?
I did not.
Okay.
Yeah. Detective, if you would actually just take a look at 212 and 213. I know they were at the bottom of that 149.
I only bring it up, they were out of sequence. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure if they were the overhead view that was used before.
Anything notable about either of those exhibits?
And 212 is just another overall photo. I think this is how they start their grid, and it does show the bottom of the water tower. And an ambulance, that's about it. And then 213 is another overall shot of the entrance exit to Dover Center where Bionca was arrested.
That permission to publish that to the jury, those two photos, because they're not on the screen.
Oh, 212 and 213, sure.
Yes.
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Detective, within the footage provided by Westlake Police Department, was there an additional video that you were aware of that was taken of the overall area?
I believe there was. There's also an overall grid photo.
Okay. All right, well, let's talk about the overall grid photo first. This is 187.
Okay.
It's been testified to by some other witnesses. Detective, I'm facing for you with the Marshall States Exhibit 187. Do you recognize it? If so, how?
I do.
And what is it?
It is going to be the attack location, Giant Eagle, and it actually provides the entrance exit to where Bionca was arrested.
And we've seen this map in the trial previously, yes?
Yes, we have.
And why is this map useful to us?
Well, for the person that's not aware of this location, it gives them a pretty good understanding of where Giant Eagle is located, how it faces, and where the arrest took place.
Okay. Let's move on to State's Exhibit 188 then. The video that was generated by the drone. Do you recall watching about a 1-minute video that was produced by the Westlake drone?
I do.
All right. I'm playing with the Martin States Exhibit 188. It's about 1 minute in length. Detective, you testified about the chaotic nature of the scene. At the time that this drone is capturing footage, it seems like everybody's gone. Is that right?
Correct, yes.
Why is it important, if it is to you, that this drone is capturing this footage for you?
Well, it shows us the cars that were left there, shows our cruisers there, and it just gives a broad overall shot of the attack scene.
I do want to go back briefly. I asked you about obtaining a buccal swab from the defendant. Do you recall me asking you that?
I do.
If I showed you in court today the buccal swab that's contained in a sealed envelope, could you identify it for us?
Yes, I could.
224. Thank you.
Stanford.
Yes, you may. Thanks.
Detective, what is this exhibit?
So this is going to be the DNA standard, also known as a buccal swab from Bionca Ellis.
Okay. And did you in fact collect that standard as you
I did.
observed here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you talked about surveillance from neighboring businesses to Giant Eagle. Did you have the opportunity to collect hard drives or external drives that contain surveillance from those businesses?
We did collect that through Detective Roman, yes.
All right, and if I showed you just a copy of that today in court, could you identify it for us?
I sure could.
This is 225, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Detective, this is exhibit 225. Do you recognize that?
I do, ma'am. This is going to be the thrift store footage, which is also known as Volunteers of America.
Thank you.
All right. Detective, you've testified to being on scene and observing the defendant being arrested. Do you see her in court today?
I do.
Thank you.
I'll note the stipulation that Ms. Ellis would be identified by this witness. Thank you.
Thanks. Detective, did you have any observations of the defendant on scene with regard to her behavior or anything she may have said?
I did.
Okay, can you tell us about that?
So when I arrived on scene, Patrolman Walcott did have Bionca at gunpoint. He had already given her orders to lay down, which I understand she did. Any further orders that she was given as to, turn over, or place your hands behind your back, to stand up, to turn around, she complied without hesitation.
Right. Did you ever hear her say anything?
I did not.
Now, Detective, have you had the opportunity to work with the prosecutor's office to prepare for this trial?
Yes, I have.
And within that preparation, did you have the opportunity to collaborate on a video that compiles a lot of the surveillance that you've testified to today in court?
Yes, I did.
All right. And if I played that compilation video for you and the jury this morning, would you be able to identify it for us?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Let's see sidebar.
Yep.